Good morning. Welcome to the Millionaire Book Club. My name is Pearlie Hunter. Side effects of tapping in with me every single morning do include personal development, mindset transformation, paradigm shifts, and the ability to think your way to success. Okay. So drop me something that you're grateful for in the comments, please. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my children, my spouse, my parents, my friends, my family. I'm grateful for my work family. I'm grateful for nature. I'm grateful for divine guidance and love and light. I'm grateful for another week to set some goals and do big things. I'm just grateful for everything. I'm grateful for awareness, right? I'm grateful that I am aware of my power. I'm aware of my greatness. I'm grateful that I can help enlighten other people to their power and their greatness as well. So drop me something. If you go back and watch this live, drop me something that you're grateful for sure. Okay. So Crystal said, I am just blessed. I am just grateful. Okay. She had an awesome weekend as well. So did I. We celebrated my sister's birthday this weekend. We surprised her with a karaoke birthday party. It was so fun at the house. It was so fun. And of course, my birthday next, June 24th. Looking forward to it. Oh, it's raining. It started raining. I knew it was. It was it. All right, so let's get the word read. The word for the day is protect. Okay, daily word, Monday, June 14, 2021, protect. I am protected by the love of God. When I feel in need of protection, I turn within and seek shelter in the love of God. As I focus on the protecting energy of love, my faith dissolves my concerns and fears, lifting me above any negative, worrying thoughts. No thought can withstand the spiritual presence that is God within me. I align with this presence and feel protected. I feel the empowering energy of loving spirit, strengthening my trust and awakening a deep awareness of peace. With this comes the warm reassurance that I am safe in spirit. I am now centered in the light, strength, and protection of God. I continue to remain mindful of this protecting presence. In deep peace and abiding trust, I release others to their own indwelling protecting presence. Let your steadfast love and your faithfulness keep me safe forever. Psalm 40:11. Okay. So protect. I am protected. I am connected. Okay. Good morning, Quincy. Welcome, King. Grateful for you. Barb said, I'm grateful to see another day. I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful to see what God has in store for me. I'm grateful for the Millionaire Book Club. I am highly grateful for life itself. Yes, yes, Queen. Me too. Um, Let me see. I wanted to share something I was thinking about earlier. So this morning, when I was getting up, you know how we gotta put ourselves back in the mood, right? Have that dialogue, that self-dialogue with yourself to, wake up and stay positive, think positive, get to it, be productive. So I was thinking last week, I watched a call that my mentor did, and he was basically talking about drifting, right? How the summertime is an easy time for people to drift away from their goals, to get distracted, to just get real loose in the routine and the habits that they've built. So I was thinking about it and I was just like, you know what? It's very unfortunate to get sidetracked in the summertime, especially when you've done so much hard work all throughout the other seasons. Because when you think about it in a sense of us planting seeds and like tending to these seeds and cultivating it and everything, the summertime is hot as hell, right? The summertime is not the time to leave your crop unattended. The summertime is not the time to distract or drift because now you can come back to a whole burned up crop, everything ruined. You know what I'm saying? So all of the stuff that the momentum we've been building, um, everything. We can't just give it all away because it's the summertime and society has programmed us to believe that this is supposed to be a time of, okay, everybody gets a break, right? School is out. It's a break time. No, it's not a break. It's not a break till we reach our goals, till we have what we desire. You know what I'm saying? It's not a break. That's all I want to say. So yes, we don't have to be here. We get to be here. We get to keep up our morning routines. We get to have these daily habits. And I'm grateful. So let's read our card. So I picked the don't take anything personally, love and respect yourself. Okay. Don't take anything personally, love and respect yourself. Okay. You are never responsible for the actions of others, but you are responsible for you. If someone is not treating you with love and respect, it is a gift if they walk away from you. You may hurt for a while, but your heart will eventually heal. Okay. And then our other one, don't take anything personally. Another one. Okay. Be immune to others' opinions. Be immune to others' opinions. Okay. Beautiful little turtle. Be immune to others' opinions. MOC for the queen. Okay. That's what's up, Crystal. Off of the card. I'm grateful. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering, right? So we won't make assumptions. We won't put ourselves in a position to feel like we got to be on the defense, right? We don't care. We realize that whatever somebody else is saying or doing has nothing to do with us, and whatever we doing or saying has nothing to do with somebody else, right? We gonna have to take that up with the universe, right? Whatever energetic output that we given, we gotta put that up. We gotta put that up with the universe, especially if it's not of a good quality nature. I'm gonna give y'all my tea quote today too. I haven't gave a tea quote in a while, but I like my tea quote. It says, "Breath is the voice of your soul." Okay, breath is the voice of your soul. Well, we're gonna jump into the read. I hope that over the weekend y'all took some time to put yourself in the state of the wish fulfilled. You took some time to just meditate, to think about where what you would be doing, where you would be, how things would be, how you would feel if you had everything that you already wanted, right? If everything was already perfect or everything was the way that you needed to be right now, how would you feel? So um, that was pretty powerful, putting ourselves in that feeling, because the feeling is the secret, right? The more and more we can get into that space, feel those feelings, let those feelings consume us and overwhelm us, the faster that we will be able to manifest the things that we desire, right? Using the spiritual side of success, not the physical, right? You can go work for it, right? You can make a deal with yourself. Okay, I'm gonna pick up 3 shifts this month and I'm gonna, make some overtime and then I'll get it that way. But at some point that gets old. Always exchanging your time for money in that way, right? We want to know just how to get into the flow of abundance, right? That's what we do here in the Millionaire Book Club. We learning how to get into the flow of abundance. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. We picking up on page 90 out the book, the fourth case history, and this is chapter 23. So let me see how long chapter 23 is actually. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We might just do 23 and then wrap up tomorrow, or we might do a couple more today. But all right, let's go. So if I say something that resonates with you during the read, drop a MOC in the chat. MOC basically means a moment of clarity. Okay. It's my way to connect with you guys. I like to know that you're taking value from this, that things are making sense. And so, yeah, just let me know. MOC, light bulb moments. Okay. So let's go. Page 90. This was told by the aunt in the story to the entire audience at the conclusion of one of my lectures. Okay, so basically, the way we ended, just so nobody is confused, the way we ended with the last case study, the little boy had manifested a puppy. His grandmother was being taught by Neville Goddard. She was learning how to, use the power of her imagination to call forth things unseen to seen, and she had her grandson with her, and he didn't look like he was paying attention, but obviously he was, because he applied the law, the power of assumption, and he manifested a puppy. Basically, he won a puppy, even though his grandparents were against it, his parents were against it. They couldn't say no to him because of the dramatic way that he won the puppy. He basically won it through a contest at his school, right? He was in the news, it got all of this press, and so they was like, wow, right? This stuff works. So that's where we picking up at. This was told by the aunt in the story to the entire audience at the conclusion of one of my lectures. During the question period following my lecture on the law of assumption, a lady who attended many lectures and had had personal consultation with me on a number of occasions rose and asked permission to tell a story illustrating how she had successfully used the law. She said that upon returning home from the lecture the week before, she had found her niece distressed and terribly upset. The husband of the niece, who was an officer, oh no, we read this one, I think. Did we read this one, y'all? I'm on 5. Okay, I'm sorry. We read that. I'm going to 5, okay? This case is especially interesting because of the short interval of time between the application of this law of assumption and its visible manifestation. A very prominent woman came to me in deep concern. She maintained a lovely city apartment in a large country home, but because the many demands made upon her were greater than her modest income, it was absolutely essential that she rent her apartment if she and her family were to spend the summer at their country home. In previous years, the apartment had been rented without difficulty early in the spring. But the day she came to me, the rental season for summer sublets was over. The apartment had been in the hands of the best real estate agents for months, but no one had been interested even in coming to see it. When she had described her predicament, I explained how the law of assumption could be brought to bear on solving her problem. I suggested that by imagining the apartment had been rented by a person desiring immediate occupancy, and by assuming that this was the case, her apartment actually would be rented. In order to create the necessary feeling of naturalness, the feeling that it was already a fact that her apartment was rented, I suggested that she drift off into sleep that very night, imagining herself not in her apartment, but in whatever place she would sleep were the apartment suddenly rented. She quickly grasped the idea and said that in such a situation, she would sleep in her country home, even though it were not yet opened for the summer. This interview took place on Thursday. At 9 o'clock the following Saturday morning, she phoned me from her home in the country, excited and happy. She told me that on Thursday night, she had fallen asleep, actually imagining and feeling that she was sleeping in her other bed in her country home, many miles away from the city apartment she was occupying. On Friday, the very next day, a highly desirable tenant, one who met all her requirements as a responsible person, not only rented the apartment, but rented it on the condition that he could move in that very day. Okay. So when like reading these case histories, it make it seem like it's so like it's just unbelievable how some of this stuff happened, right? But the how is irrelevant. It's unbelievable because we like to know exactly how it happened. We want to know the steps. We want you to write it down. We need the receipts, right? And when it comes to the universe, the receipts is what you attracting, right? The receipts is what you're producing. That's the receipts. So it's just crazy. I want y'all to definitely do this stuff, okay? Imagine, assume the wish fulfilled, manifest some stuff, right? And then like let the whole world know that you did it. Help somebody else do the same thing. All right. Number 6, case history. Only the most complete and intense use of the law of assumption could have produced such results in this extreme situation. 4 years ago, a friend of our family asked that I talk with his 28-year-old son, who was not expected to live. He was suffering from a rare heart disease. This disease resulted in a disintegration of the organ. Long and costly medical care had been of no avail. Doctors held out no hope for recovery. For a long time, the son had been confined to his bed. His body had shrunk to almost a skeleton, and he could talk and breathe only with great difficulty. His wife and 2 small children were home when I called, and his wife was present throughout our discussion. I started by telling him that there was only one solution to any problem, and that solution was a change of attitude. Since talking exhausted him, I asked him to nod in agreement if he understood clearly what I said. This he agreed to do. I described the facts underlying the law of consciousness. In fact, that consciousness was the only reality. I told him that the way to change any condition was to change his state of consciousness concerning it. As a specific aid in helping him to assume the feeling of already being well, I suggested that in imagination, he see the doctor's face expressing incredulous amazement in finding him recovered, contrary to all reason from the last stages of an incurable disease, that he see him double checking in his examination and hear him saying over and over, "It's a miracle, it's a miracle," right? So he is told to set up this whole scenario in his mind, right? Even though he's still sick, he's still going through what he's going through. He's still probably, his body's feeling weak and everything. Even though your body might be weak, your mind is still strong, right? And the body is following the mind at all times. The body follows the mind. He not only understood all of this clearly, but he believed it implicitly. He promised that he would faithfully follow this procedure. His wife, who had been listening intently, assured me that she too would diligently use the law of assumption and her imagination in the same way as her husband. The following day, I sailed for New York, all this taking place during a winter vacation in the tropics. Several months later, I received a letter saying the son had made a miraculous recovery. On my next visit, I met him in person. He was in perfect health, actively engaged in business, and thoroughly enjoying the many social activities of his friends and family. He told me that from the day I left, he never had any doubt that it would work. He described how he had faithfully followed the suggestion I had made to him, and day after day had lived completely in the assumption of already being well and strong. Now, 4 years after his recovery, he is convinced that the only reason he is here today is due to his successful use of the law of assumption. Okay? Powerful. All right. Case history 7. This story illustrates the successful use of the law by a New York business executive. In the fall of 1950, an executive of one of New York's prominent banks discussed with me a serious problem with which he was confronted. He told me that the outlook for his personal progress and advancement was very dim. Having reached middle age and feeling that a marked improvement in position and income was justified, he had talked it out with his superiors. They frankly told him that any major improvement was impossible and intimated that if he was dissatisfied, he could seek another job. This, of course, only increased his uneasiness. In our talk, he explained that he had no great desire for really big money, but that he had to have a substantial income in order to maintain his home comfortability and to provide for the education of his children in good preparatory schools and colleges. This he found impossible on his present income. The refusal of the bank to assure him of any advancement in the near future resulted in a feeling of discontent and an intense desire to secure a better position with considerably more money. He confided in me that the kind of job he would like better than anything in the world was one in which he managed the investment funds of a large institution, such as a foundation or great university. In explaining the law of assumption, I stated that his present situation was only a manifestation of his concept of himself, and declared that if he wanted to change the circumstances in which he found himself, he could do so by changing his concept of himself. Okay. So basically what you feel you're worthy of having, that's what you have, right? Because if you felt you were worthy of more, you would make it happen because only you can make it happen. Only you can bring more to you. Okay. In order to bring about this change of consciousness and thereby a change in his situation, I asked him to follow this procedure every night just before he fell asleep. In imagination, he was to feel that he was retiring at the end of one of the most important and successful days of his life. He was to imagine that he had actually closed the deal that very day to join the kind of organization he yearned to be with, and in exactly the capacity he wanted. I suggested to him that if he succeeded in completely filling his mind with this feeling, he would experience a definite sense of relief. In this mood, his uneasiness and discontent would be a thing of the past. He would feel the contentment that comes with the fulfillment of desire. I wound up by assuring him that if he did this faithfully, he would inevitably get the kind of position he wanted. This was the first week of December. Night after night, without exception, he followed this procedure. Early in February, a director of one of the wealthiest foundations in the world asked this executive if he would be interested in joining the foundation in an executive capacity handling investments. After some brief discussion, he accepted. Today, at a substantially higher income and with the assurance of steady progress, right? Assurance of steady progress. Why is it assured? It's assured because he know how to use the law of assumption, right? Today, at a substantially higher income and with the assurance of steady progress, this man is in a position far exceeding all that he had hoped for. Okay. Number 8. This is the last one, the last case history. Okay. So while we're reading this, like I already got like a little scenario in my mind that I replay all the time. But if you don't, like you see what they doing, they basically setting up a script, right? So act like you're a producer in your life movie, right? You a producer in your life movie and you about to produce the best movie ever, right? You about to produce a #1 rated movie. So, how you go into your imagination, think about it in that way. You producing your life movie. Okay. Number 8, the man and wife in this story have attended my lectures for a number of years. It is an interesting illustration of the conscious use of this law by two people concentrating on the same objective at one time. When it's more than one, it's power, it's more energy. This man and wife were an exceptionally devoted couple. Their life was completely happy and entirely free from any problems or frustrations. For some time, they had planned to move into a larger apartment. The more they thought about it, the more they realized that what they had their hearts set on was a beautiful penthouse. In discussing it together, the husband explained that he wanted one with a huge window looking out on a magnificent view. The wife said she would like to have one side of the walls mirrored from top to bottom. They both wanted to have a wood burning fireplace. It was a must that the apartment be in New York City. For months, they had searched for just an apartment in vain. In fact, the situation in the city was such that the securing of any kind of apartment was almost an impossibility. They were so scarce that not only were there waiting lists for them, but all sorts of special deals, including premiums, the buying of furniture, etc., were involved. New apartments were being leased long before they were completed, many being rented from the blueprints of the building. Early in the spring, after months of fruitless seeking, they finally located one which they seriously considered. It was a penthouse apartment in a building just being completed on Upper Fifth Avenue facing Central Park. It had one serious drawback. Being a new building, it was not subject to rent control, and the couple felt the yearly rental was exorbitant. In fact, it was several $1,000s a year more than they had considered paying. During the spring months of March and April, they continued looking at various penthouses throughout the city, but they always came back to this one. Finally, they decided to increase the amount they would pay substantially and made a proposition which the agent for the building agreed to forward to the owners for consideration. It was at this point, without discussing it with each other, each determined to apply the law of assumption. It was not until later that it was not until later that each learned what the other had done. Night after night, they both fell asleep in imagination in the apartment they were considering. Okay? So night after night, they both fell asleep in imagination in the apartment they were considering. The husband, lying with his eyes closed, would imagine that his bedroom windows were overlooking the park. He would imagine going to the window the first thing in the morning and enjoying the view. He felt himself sitting on the terrace overlooking the park, having cocktails with his wife and friends, all thoroughly enjoying it. He filled his mind with actually feeling himself in the penthouse and on the terrace. During all this time, unknown to him, his wife was doing the same thing. Several weeks went by without any decision on part of the owners, but they continued to imagine as they fell asleep each night that they were actually sleeping in the penthouse. One day, to their complete surprise, one of the employees in the apartment building in which they lived told them that the penthouse there was vacant. They were astonished because theirs was one of the most desirable buildings in the city with a perfect location right on Central Park. They knew there was a long waiting list of people trying to get an apartment in their building. The fact that a penthouse had unexpectedly become available was kept quiet by the management because they were not in a position to consider any applicants for it. Upon learning that it was vacant, this couple immediately made a request that it be rented to them, only to be told that this was impossible. The fact was that not only were there several people on a waiting list for a penthouse in the building, but it was actually promised to one family. Despite this, right, despite what all of the physical, right, the physical is saying, there's no way this is happening for you, right? Despite the physical reality, this couple had a series of meetings with the management, at the conclusion of which the apartment was theirs. Okay? The building being subject to rent control, their rental was just about what they had planned to pay when they first started looking for a penthouse. The location, the apartment itself, and the large terrace surrounding it on the south, west, and north was beyond all their expectations. And in the living room, on one side, is a great window, 15 feet by 8 feet, with a magnificent view of Central Park. One wall is mirrored from floor to ceiling, and there is a wood burning fireplace. Okay. So basically, it all came to pass at the end, right? Because they kept the power here, right? The power in their mind. It don't matter what the rental people say. They can't tell you that you can't go there in your imagination, right? So that's it for that chapter. Let me see. I think I'll read chapter 24 and then we'll stop at 24. And tomorrow we'll do 25, 26, and 27. And once we get through 25, 26, 27, we basically done with this book. Okay. Well, with this book, but it's another book inside of this book that I didn't know that we will read. Okay. And it's called Awakened Imagination. And I'm excited about that because I want to awake my imagination even more. Right. I feel like it's pretty good, but I know it could be a whole lot better. Everything can always be better. Everything is a forward progression. So I'm going to read chapter 24. It's called Failure. Okay. Failure. This book would not be complete without some discussion of failure and the attempted use of the law of assumption. Right. How divine to put that right after we just read the case histories. It is entirely possible that you either have had or will have a number of failures in this respect, many of them in really important matters. If having read this book, having a thorough knowledge of the application and working of the law of assumption, you faithfully apply it in an effort to attain some intense desire and fail, what is the reason? If to the question, did you persist enough, you can answer yes, and still the attainment of your desire was not realized, what is the reason for failure? The answer to this is the most important factor in the successful use of the law of assumption. The time it takes your assumption to become fact, your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling of already being what you want to be, of already having what you desire. Okay? So I'm going to read that part again. The answer to this is the most important factor in the successful use of the law of assumption. The time it takes your assumption to become fact, your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling of already being what you want to be, of already having what you desire. Okay? So the feeling is the secret, y'all. The more natural it feels when you really, really believe it, when you really just releasing your mind, right, and letting go, that's what you need. You need that true belief. Not I'm saying it, I'm saying it, I'm saying it, but in the back of my mind, I really think this is some BS. I really don't think that this could happen. This, you know what I'm saying, is no way that this could happen. No, you truly, fully believe in with great faith, right? Just like we believe in God. That's how you believe in that you have power to do this stuff. That's how you believe in that you are a co-creator, right? And you are. We all are. Right. The fact that it does not feel natural to you to be what you imagine yourself to be is the secret of your failure. Regardless of your desire, regardless of how faithfully and intelligently you follow the law, if you do not feel natural about what you want to be, you will not be it. Okay? If it does not feel natural to you to get a better job, you will not get a better job. The whole principle is vividly expressed by the Bible phrase, you die in your sins. You do not transcend from your present level to the state desired. How can this feeling of naturalness be achieved? The secret lies in one word, imagination. For example, this is a very simple illustration. Assume that you are securely chained to a large, heavy iron bench. Okay? Assume that you are chained to a large, heavy iron bench. You could not possibly run. In fact, you could not even walk. In these circumstances, it would not be natural for you to run. You could not even feel that it was natural for you to run. But you could easily imagine yourself running. In that instant, while your consciousness is filled with your imagined running, you have forgotten that you are bound. In imagination, your running was completely natural. The essential feeling of naturalness can be achieved by persistently filling your consciousness with imagination. Imagining yourself being what you want to be or having what you desire. Progress can spring only from your imagination, from your desire to transcend your present level. Okay? Progress can spring only from your imagination, from your desire to transcend your present level. What you truly and literally must feel is that with your imagination, all things are possible. Okay? With your imagination, all things are possible. You must realize that changes are not caused by caprice, but by a change of consciousness. You may fail to achieve or sustain the particular state of consciousness necessary to produce the effect you desire. But once you know that consciousness is the only reality and is the sole creator of your particular world, and have burnt this truth into your whole being, then you know that success or failure is entirely in your own hands. Okay? So you take your power back. Whether or not you are disciplined enough to sustain the required state of consciousness in specific instances has no bearing on the truth of the law itself. That an assumption, if persisted in, will harden into fact. An assumption, if persisted in, will harden into fact. The certainty of the truth of this law must remain despite great disappointment and tragedy. Even when you see the light of life go out and all the world go on as though it were still day, you must not believe that because your assumption failed to materialize the truth that assumptions do materialize is a lie. If your assumptions are not fulfilled, it is because of some error or weakness in your consciousness. Okay? So it's not God didn't choose you or didn't think that you were worthy enough. You didn't think you were worthy enough, right? You didn't put yourself in that feeling long enough. You didn't use the power of your mind to bring forth the things that you desire from unseen to seen, right? You didn't do it. If your assumptions are not fulfilled, it is because of some error or weakness in your consciousness. However, these errors and weaknesses can be overcome. Therefore, press on to the attainment of ever higher levels by feeling that you already are the person you want to be. And remember that the time it takes your assumption to become reality is proportionate to the naturalness of being it. MOC. MOC. Right? I'm definitely about to turn my trading up to the next level now. It's going next level, y'all. And remember that the time it takes your assumption to become reality is proportionate to the naturalness of being it. Man surrounds himself with the true image of himself. Every spirit builds itself a house, and beyond its house, a world, and beyond its world, a heaven. Know then that the world exists for you. For you, the phenomenon is perfect. What we are, that only can we see. All that Adam had, all that Caesar could, you have and can do. Adam called his house heaven and earth. Caesar called his house Rome. You perhaps call yours a cobbler's trade, 100 acres of land, or a scholar's garret. Yet, line for line and point for point, your dominion is as great as theirs. Though without fine name, build therefore your own world. As fast as you conform your life to the pure idea in your mind that will unfold its great proportion. And that was Emerson. Okay. So that's it. That's it for that chapter. Um, none of all of this is like repetition, but it's very, very good repetition because repetition is the mother of skill number one. And when it comes to failure, you have to have a healthy self-image to be able to deal with failure, right? Because when you are pursuing things, you putting yourself out there, right? You putting yourself out there. You got a lot of eyes on you. People are viewing you. And if you don't have a healthy self-image, like if you are doing things to look good for somebody else or to, you know what I'm saying, make this appearance, then when you fail, it can take you out, right? It takes you out because you feeling like everybody talking about you, everybody against you, this or third. But it's okay to fail, right? That's basically what this awesome comes down to. It's okay to fail, and especially okay for us to fail at this point because now we know about the law of assumption, right? We know that the reason we are failing is because we're not doing enough deep work, right? We're not meditating enough. We're not going inside our mind enough. We're not creating a movie. We're not spending enough time on set, right? We distracted. We distracted by the phone, the social media, the TV, right? Um, so if it's some things that's going on right now that you're not happy with, get in your mind, go inside your mind and change it, right? Go inside your mind and assume the feeling of the wish already fulfilled and do that every day, every hour. I don't even care if you got to set a dang on alarm on your phone every hour, right? I mean, y'all could subscribe to I Am, that app, and get a daily notification, like a hourly notification, which our I Am for today is, for the 8 o'clock hour, was each and every day I am getting closer to achieving my goals. Okay. So let's just say you start getting those I Am app little messages, and every hour that you get that, you can take 5 quick minutes, 3 quick minutes to go inside your mind, right? To thank God, to pray for you having all that you already desire, to assume that feeling of the wish fulfilled every day, every day, every day. You got to keep it as your point of attraction. It's not enough to do it today, but not do it for another week, right? And then do it the next week, and then you expect things to be different or stuff to be changed. It's not enough to do it that way. You have to be consistent, you have to be persistent, and you have to be vibrating high, right? Vibrating, protecting your energy, being responsible for your energetic output, right? It's not enough to do it either, but you go into your imagination and it's all pleasant and peaceful. But when you come back to reality, right? You negative, you mad, you angry, you spewing out negative energy, toxic vibes to other people. You won't attract what you want that way. Those frequencies don't attract to that, right? They don't line up with that. You got to be on the right frequency to attract the right type of things. And these frequencies is the frequencies of love, joy, gratitude, happiness, right? Hope, like nothing negative, nothing negative. No stress, no worries at all. You'll be stuck. You'll feel stuck if those are the frequencies that you house or that you put out a lot. So that's it, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this read today. If you took some value from that, please drop a 111 in the chat for me. If you go back and watch this video on YouTube, please subscribe to YouTube if you haven't already. My YouTube is I Coach Wealth. But if you go back on YouTube and watch this video, good morning, Lindsay. Welcome, Queen. If you watch this video replay, just let me know what you're grateful for sure. And then just let me know how you're going to apply the law of assumption. Let me know if you understand it. Let me know if we can hop on Zoom and do some goal setting, right? I'm down with all of that stuff because the thing is, this is active, right? It's not enough. We're not just doing this to do it. We're not just doing this as like oh, we do the book club every morning to just casually read. No, we're reading to change our lives. We're reading to develop our mindset. We're reading to shift our paradigms. We're reading to have awareness of our power. Okay, so that's it. That's it for today. I'm super grateful for y'all, super blessed. Thank you. Thank you so much for waking up with me this Monday morning, waking up for yourself this Monday morning, and positively, intentionally starting your day. I am your sister in love. I am your sister in light. Protect your energy today. Protect your peace. Be a light, be kind, spread joy and good cheer to somebody, smile, um, look in the mirror and smile at yourself too, right? Some people just have negative faces, right? You just look at them and they look mad, even though they're not mad, they just look that way. So if you have that issue, right? Look in the mirror, smile at yourself, do some mirror work, do some self work, just be bright, be a light. Okay. So I'm in this. I'll see y'all in the morning for sure. We're gonna pick up on chapter 25. I have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you, Queen. I sure will. You too.